Benvenuti and welcome to Roma. We'd like to take you through the Piaggio investment case study today, and where better to do it in the Eternal City. Now, Piaggio, or Vespa, actually invented the scooter in the 1940s. It was an iconic design that came from a jet engineer where he put the engine underneath the seat, so you have all of this room in front of you that's all of a sudden freed up. It became a mass market product, and it has won innumerable design awards. Now, actually, Vespa produces 100% of the parts that go into this thing. And it's actually the only scooter that's internally welded. So there are no other two-wheeler companies today that have this capability. It is, bar none, the highest quality scooter on the market. And where better to actually take you through this Piaggio investment case study than with my friend Annie O'Giles. She runs Scooter Roma.
Ciao, everyone.
And we're about to blow up Rome today.
Yeah, let's go for a spin.
Let's do it. Okay, so basically the Piaggio investment story is pretty simple. The markets in Italy, France, and Spain, its most important markets, have absolutely been destroyed over the last decade. France got cut in half, Italy's down by 2/3, and Spain is down an astounding 3/4. Now, so Piaggio was able to endure that downturn through pricing power. The Vespa brand has so much pricing strength that actually EBITDA margins actually expanded throughout that downturn, throughout that major contraction in production. What's amazing to us is that the company is recording all-time high profit margins. At the same time, it's only utilizing 50% of capacity. So the contribution margin of a Vespa is in the high 30% range, but the company is only generating low teens EBITDA margins right now. So you can only imagine, as the markets start to recover in Italy, France, and Spain, how impactful that is to profitability. In fact, if the markets just retrace 50% of the decline that they've generated over the last decade, we think that EBITDA can almost double, which means, because the stock is levered, that basically we think that there's 3 to 4 times the upside on the Vespa, on Piaggio stock. So, even though the economies have started recovering in France, Spain, and Italy, and sentiment has dramatically improved, we're still so significantly below mid-cycle on scooter sales. We think a large reason for this is that youth unemployment remains very high. But it's starting to come down, and it's starting to accelerate to the downside. So Spanish youth unemployment has gone from 55 to sub 40%. Italy has gone from 39 to around 33. France has gone down another 5 points, and that's even before Macron enacts these labor market reforms, which is obviously going to be helping youth unemployment. And so because there's so much running room to get just back to mid-cycle, and because Piaggio's stock is highly levered, that's why we think there's so much upside left in the shares. Now, let's talk about the leverage, because the leverage is one of the things that everyone knocks Piaggio for. That's one of the downside scenarios. It's levered 2.8 times. On a cyclical manufacturer, I can understand the risk. Here's the thing though. In the downturn, all they did is raise price in order to keep their cash flow in check. So the leverage ratio actually never got that bad during the bottom of the recession. And so even if markets round trip to the downside, it has pricing power to correct for this. Now, we don't think that markets are going to round trip to the downside because the fleet of vehicles, of two-wheelers in Italy is at an all-time high. The average age has gone from 10 to 13 years, and there is significant pent-up demand left in the markets. So above and beyond the European market, the Indian and Southeast Asian market is very important for Piaggio. It has a very dominant market share in Indian rickshaws, and actually its two-wheeler business in India has just started taking off. Now, perhaps the biggest potential untapped market for Piaggio is China. Now, it has basically a 0% market share in China right now. Every 1% market share that it could possibly take would increase sales by 30-40% for the Piaggio as a company. Now, it's introducing some new rickshaws, some new 3- and 4-wheelers, so it's going to continue to take market share in 2017, 2018, 2019 in the Indian market, which will help it endure some of this choppiness that we've seen as a result of the demonetization that Modi did. But here's the really cool thing. They're launching the Vespa Electrica at the end of 2017, and then early 18 in China. Almost all of the market in China, 14 million vehicles, is actually electric. So it's potentially a giant untapped market for for Piaggio with this electric scooter in China, and they can sell directly. We think it's really impactful for the business. So speaking of electric and disruptive technologies, Vespa was the original disruptive technology. We estimate the all-in cost to owning a Vespa is only $2 a day for your transportation needs. Contrast that for $16 a day for a small car and over $40 just Ubering around the city all day. It also just happens to be the best way to go on a Roman holiday. So make sure y'all check out scooterroma.com and buy Piaggio stock. So arrivederci, y'all.
This is how we do Roman on the Vespa.
Oh.